There are many volcanoes on Earth, and there are about 1,500 potentially active volcanoes around the planet. There are continuous belts of volcanoes on the ocean floor, and some of these volcanoes make it to the surface, creating new islands and landmass. From volcanoes under miles of Antarctic ice to what may be the largest volcano in the solar system, check out these 10 most recent volcano discoveries. 1. Banua Wuhu. Banua Wuhu is classified as a new volcano, and it's sitting in the Sangihe Islands in Indonesia, about 27 miles south of Wuhu. If you go looking for it, you're not going to have much luck without a guide and some equipment. That's because the interesting thing about this volcano is that it's submerged under the water at about 16 feet deep. However, the volcano rises more than 1,312 feet from the seafloor and almost reaches the surface. Because of this, it forms a shallow shoal, a natural submerged ridge 16 feet below the water. Banua Wuhu has erupted before, and during its eruptions, it has created some temporary islands. This young volcano is in a normal to dormant state, but on February 12, 2009, a magnitude 7.2 earthquake occurred 80 miles northeast of the volcano at a depth of 12 miles. It is said that it's one of the most incredible places to go scuba diving, and the shoal is a habitat of gigantic sponges and other indigenous marine life. You might not ever get to see another underwater volcano. 2. Anak Krakatoa. Krakatoa, or Krakatau, erupted in August of 1883 and was one of the deadliest volcanic eruptions to humans in modern history. More than 36,000 people perished in the eruption from either thermal injury from the blast, which had an explosive force of 200 megatons, or from the tsunamis that followed as the volcano collapsed in on itself into the caldera below sea level. The huge eruption also affected the climate and caused temperatures all around the world to drop 1.2 degrees cooler for the next 5 years. But in 1927, Javanese fishermen were startled to see a column of steam and debris that began spewing out from the collapsed caldera. It would seem that Krakatoa has awakened after 44 years of being silent. Within weeks, the rim of a new cone appeared above sea level, and within a year, it grew into a small island which was named Anak Krakatoa, which means Child of Krakatoa. 3. Hariguchin. On February 20, 1943, a farmer named Dionisio Pulido was working in his cornfield just outside of the Tarascan Indian village of Hariguchin, Mexico. He and his family had spent the day getting ready to plant crops by clearing weeds and putting them into piles and burning them. At 4 p.m. in the afternoon, Pulido left his wife and moved to another field so he could set fire to it. But when he arrived, he saw something strange. On top of a small hill in the field was a huge crack in the ground over 6 feet wide and at least 150 feet long. At first, Pulido wasn't worried because the crack only looked about a foot deep. Ignoring it, he started tightening piles of branches when suddenly he heard thunder and the ground began to shake. Looking back towards the crack, the ground there had swelled up over 6 feet high and gray ashes began pouring out of the hole, along with smoke and a loud whistle. What had appeared in Pulido's cornfield was a new volcano, and it would be the first time scientists got to see the beginning through extinction. Hariguchin was located in the heart of the Trans-Mexican Volcanic Belt, and it was very active in its first year, growing to 1,353 feet. It finally went dormant in 1952, but by then, 20 square miles of vegetation had been destroyed. 4. Surtsey. Surtsey is a shield volcano and volcanic island and part of the Vestmannaeyjar submarine volcanic system in Iceland. It measures about a square mile in diameter and was formed in an undersea volcanic eruption which lasted from November 14, 1963 until June 5, 1965. Remarkably, it is one of the longest recorded eruptions in modern times, lasting 3.5 years. After just a few days of this eruption, the new island had measured over 1,640 feet and had reached a height of 147 feet above the sea from which it had arisen. It continued to grow, and by April of 1965, ash had blocked the seawater from the crater area and lava flows became more prominent. A hard cap formed of solid rocks and prevented the waves from washing the island away. Like Anak Krakatoa, it is one of the most famous island volcanoes to have emerged from the ocean, and many new forms of plants and animals, mostly crustaceans, can be found there. However, the volcano is still geologically active, meaning that it could erupt again soon. But if it doesn't erupt, it will disappear below the ocean waves by the year 2100. 5. Nishinoshima. Up until half a century ago, and as far back as anyone could remember, the volcanic island southeast of Tokyo called Nishinoshima had remained quiet. After roaring into existence thousands of years ago, and with its constant eruptions which piled lava up into a blob 1.2 miles wide, the new island volcano became calm and had reached a state of dormancy. But in April of 1973, a burbling began under the water just east of the island, and passing sailors noticed smoke rising up into the air. Over the next few days, other islands had formed and joined together, no longer a blob, but a bumpy volcanic crescent. But it wasn't finished growing, and in late 2013 there was an underwater eruption from another volcano near Nishinoshima, which began gushing lava that hardened into swirls. This new island would spread to reach closer to the older one and eventually merged. But this time it stayed active, eating up the old island, and had released enough lava to fill the Tokyo Dome 6 times. Some believe that the eruptions had stopped, but observers aboard a plane saw intense activity in the crater. We think we'll hear more about this one soon. 6. Hunga Tonga. In 2015, in the South Pacific, after the eruption of an underwater volcano in Tonga, a new island had emerged. This island measures 1,640 feet long. The full name of this island volcano is Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai, and scientists believe that it's highly unstable and more eruptions could be on the way. Hunga Tonga is only the third known volcanic island to have arisen in the last 150 years. It has remained quiet in the last 4 years, having joined 2 small islands together, but life has quickly embraced the Martian-looking landscape. Patches of vegetation have grown, Hunga Tonga cliff gullies are nesting on the island, and a researcher even saw a barn owl here. But volcanic islands like these only last a short time, and nobody knows for sure how long this volcanic island will keep its head above water. 7. 91 new volcanoes under Antarctica. In August of 2017, scientists uncovered the largest volcanic region on Earth, and surprisingly, it is 1.2 miles below the surface of a vast ice sheet that covers West Antarctica. In this region lies almost 100 volcanoes, and the tallest of them is as high as the Eiger Mountain, part of the Bernese Alps in Switzerland, which stands at 13,015 feet. Geologists say that this region is likely to dwarf that of East Africa's volcanic ridge, which is the densest concentration of volcanoes in the world. Volcanic eruptions here may not reach the surface, but it's possible that it could melt the ice from beneath and drastically destabilize it. All of the volcanoes are covered in ice, which sometimes lies in layers more than 2.4 miles thick. There is one alarming trend that has scientists worried, and that is that the most volcanism going on in the world at the present time is in regions that have only recently lost their glacial covering. Places like Iceland and Alaska. Theory says that this occurs because as the ice melts, the pressure is released from volcanoes and they start to become more active. With that in mind, we could see intense volcanic eruptions as the ice sheath in Antarctica melt away. 8. Tamu Massive. A volcano discovered under the Pacific Ocean in the year 2013, just 1,000 miles east of Japan, has scientists saying that it could be the biggest volcano on Earth. And if proven to be one large volcano, it also would be one of the biggest volcanoes in our solar system. Named Tamu Massive, this giant shield volcano had once been thought to be many smaller structures, but further examination has likely proven this wrong. And it's huge. Its rounded dome measures 280 by 400 miles. That's more than 112,900 square miles. The top of the volcano is about 6,500 feet below the ocean surface, while the base of the volcano extends down about 4 miles deep. Tamu Massive dwarfs the largest active volcano on the Earth, which is Mauna Loa in Hawaii, which only measures 2,000 square miles in comparison. And for the record, if confirmed, this underwater volcano would be in the same league as Olympus Mons on Mars, which has been considered to be the largest volcano in the solar system. Even though it has been extinct, imagine if this volcano decided to erupt. 9. Newly discovered lava lake. Heading back to the cold in July of 2019, a rare occurrence was discovered in a very remote Antarctic island. A lake of sizzling lava was spotted on the island. And although bubbling lakes of lava are commonly linked to volcanoes, it's only the 8th lake of molten rock ever discovered on the Earth. The place is called Saunders Island in the South Sandwich Islands, about 1,000 miles north of the eastern edge of Antarctica's Weddell Sea. Satellite images show the snow-covered volcano of Mount Michael on Saunders Island, which is usually cloaked from view by heavy clouds, to have a giant lava lake measuring between 300 and 700 feet in diameter. and being between 1,812 and 2,334 degrees Fahrenheit. The Sandwich Islands themselves are a remote volcanic chain of which Saunders is part of. Unfortunately, it would be extremely difficult to access and only high-resolution satellite imagery is available. 10. The largest underwater volcano. In May 2019, a strange seismic event off the coast of Africa led scientists to an incredible discovery. It would turn out to be the largest underwater volcanic eruption ever recorded. This event happened in November 2018 just off of the island of Mayotte, which is located between Madagascar and Mozambique in the Indian Ocean. Researchers described the seismic event as a strange hum that circled the world, but no one could figure out what created this sound. This was because the hum rang at a single ultra-low frequency, which is strange because seismic waves usually rumble at many frequencies. However, one of the telltale signs something was amiss was that the island of Mayotte moved a few inches south and east after the mysterious seismic event. This underwater volcano rises nearly a half-mile off the ocean floor and is 3.1 miles in diameter. Keep your eyes open for this one. It's no stranger to eruptions, and 4,000 years have passed since the last activity. That concludes our list of 10 most recent volcano discoveries. Tell us which one you thought was the most interesting. And if you liked the video, subscribe and turn on notifications and you'll be the first to know when a new video arrives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.